In most games, it's normal for our main protagonists to talk. Usually that's how we get to know them. We listen to what they say, and we formulate our understanding of who they are and what they're about. But while I was popping my Lies of P cherry and getting run through for the first time, it dawned on me, P. He doesn't speak. I mean, you can choose dialogue options and other people in the world would respond, but we don't hear his voice, ever. Books don't give you a voice or an expression to work with. Instead, what they do give you is a whole. And as a man, I get curious about that space. Readers fill in the blanks. We imagine what our characters would sound like. Sometimes you decide what they meant. In Lies of P, I was trying to figure out what kind of voice that Pina would have. Consciously or unconsciously, readers tend to do this, and it's one of the main ways, I think, that get us invested into what's happening on the page. An author can only do so much to illustrate the atmosphere, but ultimately, what your brain does is start visualizing and creating those intense moments yourself, and suddenly, we're in the story. Great writers are able to grab your attention and take you on the journey with them. You're no longer just sitting on your bed reading A Court of Thorns and Roses and looking at what Rhysand and Feyre are doing, you're in bed with them. Silent characters work in the same way. They have an almost otherworldly gravitational pull. The empty space they leave behind draws us in closer, and our minds start doing what they always do. We try to make sense of it. We go beyond and start imagining what they're thinking, how they feel, and why they did what they did. This isn't me trying to dismiss voice-acted protagonists. That stuff works, and works staggeringly well. Some of the most memorable characters in gaming history are fully voiced, and their performances carry the entire experience.
We have a mission!
Oh, fuck the mission! Fuck the mission, Lune!
You swore the oath. When one falls, we continue.
Yes, I know.
When one falls. When one falls. Not if, when.
This isn't to knock on that. I just think silent protagonists are often overlooked, and the way they're written deserves a lot more credit than they get. Lies of P is full of a voice cast, but the main protagonist we spend the most time with doesn't have a voice. Extending this thought further and going beyond, we can even think about movies. In the early 1900s, silent films were taking off. By the 1910s and into the 20s, they were already the center of global entertainment. You would walk into a dark theater, hear the rumble of a piano or a live orchestra, and just sit with strangers as lights flickered on across the screen. No dialogue, no voiceover, there wasn't even any color. You just had images, and that's why they called it the pictures. But in the middle of all of that, a little man with a bowler hat, a toothbrush mustache, and a cane walked onto screen, and he changed everything. I know you guys have heard the face and seen the name, but Charlie Chaplin was the silent film star. He's the one who stuck, and even today, you're still able to recognize who he is. His character, the Tramp, became one of the most iconic figures in cinematic history. He never spoke a word. He just stumbles and smiles and gives sideways glances, and you're just so captivated by this. And so why does this work? I mean, think of it like this. When a poet uses spaces between lines, these spaces aren't empty just to be empty. I feel like they purposely do these things for effects, things the poet couldn't say out loud. Just like when you're playing Lies of P, the silence that Pinot has gives you room for imagination, and in a way you're kind of co-creating the story. That kind of engagement makes the story stick even more because now it's living in your head. You help to build it. In fact, when a silent character does speak, what happens? It always hits differently. Think about Doomslayer. The moment he finally says something, you feel the weight of every unspoken word that came before it. But when he does speak, it creates a metaphorical boom that just wows the audience and makes us roar. Another example is Kratos.
That it did not. A god of war. God of pain. I chase redemption that I know I can never deserve. What does that make me?
Obviously, he has like a very careful and captivating voice, but I feel like he doesn't talk all that much. He only says things when he needs to say something. But like that's what silence does. It builds tension, it adds gravity, and sometimes that gravity is so immense that it pulls the ground beneath you. With that kind of design, you get a protagonist who does not need to speak to be understood. You just need to listen to the silence. And personally, I really like not being told what to feel, because I'm already feeling it.